Wrestlepalooza. Wrestlepalooza. That was how Cody said it. That was clearly the best way, a decent way. Braun Breaker, a close second. But in general, I've discovered it's very hard to sound tough, no matter who you are, when saying a word that has palooza in it. But regardless of the name, this is shaping up to be a really big show. So these are my predictions for WWE's 2025 Premium Live event, Wrestlepalooza. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. I'm recording this Tuesday, September the 16th. It's just after 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so I've seen the Go Home Raw, the Before Go Home SmackDown, and I guess my first prediction is based on the fact that it has Indianapolis in the name, Wrestlepalooza Indianapolis, and the way they're really hyping this card. I think they're hoping this becomes a regular event. Also, the fact it has wrestle in it. Maybe they hope that in the next couple of years, this sort of takes on the WrestleMania spot as the show that has the whole bandwagon, all the conventions, all the people coming in for a week. They're saying it's Wrestlepalooza week because that's probably not going to happen in 2027 in Saudi Arabia. Just the entire convention coming around, like not just the high-end people, but like just a whole bunch of people with different companies, whatever, setting up little booths and stuff. That probably isn't going to happen. So this might be a replacement for that. Maybe they're trying to set that up. I don't know. One thing is sure, it's also the first show on ESPN in the States. Of course, it's still on Netflix internationally. So, VPN companies, give me a little ad. I'll promote you. Just saying. It's also counter programming AEW's All Out. So, they're definitely pulling out all the stops for this one. So let's get right into the card with the first match. For the undisputed WWE Championship, the champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, defends against challenger Drew McIntyre. Now, I said the first match because I'm actually putting these in the order I think the matches are going to appear. And it wouldn't surprise me if the undisputed WWE Championship match is first. In fact, I don't think any of you, when you heard me say that, thought that, no, wait a second, that's going to be the main event. There's some dispute as to what the main event's actually going to be, what the last match is going to be, but I don't think anyone thought it would be this match. And it's not because the title's fallen in stature or because Cody's the champion. Maybe Roman always insisted on going on at the end when he was champion, but no, it's because this was the last match announced. And honestly, I don't think I can predict anything else or anyone's going to predict anything else. Cody Rhodes is going to retain the championship. He's not going to lose it on his first defense and only on his second match after winning it back. The first match being that tag match that ended in DQ at the SmackDown that I was at in Montreal. I think Drew's going to put on a good show. What I also think, though, is maybe Randy's going to celebrate, and this is going to be the Randy Orton heel turn. They're doing it kind of quickly. Maybe they'll set up for another rematch with Drew where it looks like he might win it, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a Randy Orton heel turn at the end. And I'm more sure than anything that Cody Rhodes is walking out of Indianapolis, still the undisputed WWE champion. Next up in a tag team match, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, versus the Vision's Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I'm looking forward to this match. I think the goal of this match, it's to develop the Usos, maybe reestablish them as a tag team for a short period of time, or maybe feed into the whole Jey Uso LA Knight rivalry, or tease some tensions within the Usos. But the other purpose is to really, I think, push Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed as a tag team within the Vision. It wouldn't surprise me if they're tag team champions and maybe fighting against the Usos later in the year. This, I think, is the next stage in their evolution. Sorry to reference Evolution, which is a group this group has been compared to. But I think beating a name team like the Usos, the reunited Usos, might be the way to go. Now, they're not going to win clean. I think they're maybe, who knows, maybe Paul Heyman will come back, cheat for them. I don't think Seth and Becky are going to be involved at this stage with them. They're a part of the same faction, but they're not going to really interact. And maybe LA Knight will cause the cheating. I'm not really sure. I actually think in this case, Jey Uso is going to take the pin, and maybe just to put over Bronson Reed, it'll be from him, but most likely Breaker. But regardless, I predict the Brawnies, the Breaker and Reed of the Vision, are going to beat the Usos. Next up for the vacant Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. Okay, this is a tough one to call because honestly, I would be happy with either of these women winning. I think I just hope that we actually get like a full match with a victor, but no interference, except I'm pretty sure there is going to be interference. It's going to be Asuka and Kairi. Maybe now I'm just thinking like, how are they going to, because we want to keep Io Sky a babyface, but we know they're going to try and cheat for her. Maybe they screw up and they end up giving Stephanie the victory. I mean, possibly by DQ. I don't know if there's a DQ in this match. Does the person who get disqualified lose? Does the other one become the champion? Can the championship change by DQ in a championship match where the title's been vacated? I don't know. But no, I think what's going to happen is they're going to cheat for Io. Io maybe is not going to realize they've done it, and she's going to win. It's not going to be a clean victory. But as far as Io's concerned, it is. And then it's going to lead to a feud with a babyface Io versus heel Asuka. And maybe Io will, I don't know, team up with Rhea Ripley at some point. I was thinking in Australia, but if Io's the champion, she can't. Ultimately, I thought this was going to be Naomi retaining at Clash in Paris, and Io was going to have the feud with Asuka a different way. And I think Stephanie is going to become champion at WrestleMania. So I don't know how they're maybe by winning the Royal Rumble and then facing Rhea or someone else. I don't know how they're going to iron out that whole wishful thinking tag team match with Io and Rhea in Australia if Io's the champion. But I do think the only thing that makes sense storyline wise at this point is for Io Sky to walk out of Indianapolis the Women's World Champion. In what some consider the main event, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Now, I say some consider the main event. I could see this match going on last. In fact, I think if the what I think is going on last ends differently than what I predict, this match will go on last. So if we see the mixed tag going on just before this one, I have a funny feeling that my prediction for the mixed tag is wrong. But regardless, I think my prediction for this match is going to be correct. It's that John Cena is going to win. He's going to slay the beast. Now, usually with Lesnar, there's a trilogy of matches, but they don't have time to do that with Cena. Ultimately, I think Cena's going to go over, and I think they have to do it in this match. This is just, one more beast to slay. It's a huge marquee match. And I think Cena ultimately, maybe he's going to lose his last match, but it's going to be to a young up-and-comer that he can put over. It's not going to be to an old opponent like Brock Lesnar. He's going to triumphant over Lesnar. And this would be the send people home happy match if they put it on last, but it's going to be just as good, I think, if they put it on second to last. My prediction is John Cena beats Brock Lesnar. And what I think is going to be the main event, a mixed tag team match. AJ Lee returning after 10 years, teaming with CM Punk versus the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man Becky Lynch, and the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Technically, both those two represent division, but that's not really relevant here. Now, my prediction, if this goes on last, I think this is what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth. Seth and Becky are going to try and cheat. But ultimately, it's going to end with AJ Lee pinning Becky Lynch, setting her up as the number one contender for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which I think she's going to win, and then maybe end up dropping with and feuding against Roxanne Perez. That's a few steps ahead, but I think in order to go from this match to that match, Becky needs to be pinned by AJ. Now, if it doesn't happen like that, and I think if this match goes on second to last, it's not going to happen like that. And Seth and Becky win. That means we're going another round with the mixed tag. We might just do two singles matches on the same night, in which case we might get the title change anyways. But I think a stronger way to do it is if AJ wins on their first return match. If for some reason Seth and Becky win, though, it's going to be Seth pinning Punk. And I think maybe AJ is going to get physical with Seth because they're not going to have AJ lose on her first match back after 10 years. I think they almost have to make her win and get the pin. Who knows? Maybe she'll pin Seth, or maybe she'll knock out Seth or something. I think there's going to be some physicality of the women attacking the men. I think Seth is going to bear the brunt of that. And I think this is sort of a welcome home party for AJ Lee. And despite all the great promos they've been building up, they're going to keep part of this feud going, maybe the whole feud going. Maybe it's going to split into sections. But I'm almost sure that AJ Lee is going to win by pinning Becky Lynch. And these are my predictions for WWE's 2025 Premium Live event in September from Indianapolis, Wrestlepalooza. What did you think of my predictions? Do you agree with some, all, none? Also, what do you think of my take on Wrestlepalooza? Is it going to become a huge major event a la WrestleMania? Is it going to be like a fall WrestleMania, sort of opposite sides of the year? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Also, jasoncmclean.bsky.social on Bluesky. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown, wrestling opinion pieces, and WWE Premium Live event review, and of course, prediction videos. Until next time, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.